Good morning, everybody. It's me again. So I'm back out here for another you know for another topic for today. So before I get to this video, I just wanted to give you a little update about yes about yesterday that I called my supervisor. Um, um, he's. I talked to him and I said to him that I lost my work cap for the past 2 days while I was being dropped off by my ride. And hopefully that I know like last month, I was supposed to get a second uniform because I already had my first one. But because of that, I didn't have a phone because, back in May, before I started my job training, I didn't have a phone. But because right now I'm gonna wait and see when they'll be ready to give me a second uniform so I can come by the very next day and come pick it up. So hopefully it should be ready. And we know that, probably at least for some reason, sometimes I just don't get the logic to that. But literally, I'm gonna be putting my second uniform ready by the time when I'm ready to go professionally to work, so we can be prepared and ready to go on time. All right. So that's all I have. That's all I got. That's all I got for my update. So we're just about done with that. So and let's get to this video right now. All right. Now, today I want to be talking about that. Quit focusing on fearful people. Okay. Many people that they don't they're not they're not saying anything because y'all don't get it. Okay. Quit focusing on fearful people because they don't deserve you like that. All right. Okay. You gotta have a positive mindset all around you. Okay. You gotta have all that. Because because let me tell you, because let me tell you something. Okay. This is me when I started my new job. I'm not, because let me tell you, I was not afraid to speak to the managers and customers, because you know they're all friendly. You know, I'm not afraid of that. You know, because I still have a positive mindset with them, because you know, it does not seem for me to be getting without any trouble. All right, because you know, as you know, because I'm you know living up for a better moment, you know, for myself. You know, I'm trying to you know doing what is right. You know, to come out here, you know, not not to be afraid to speak to God. You know, when I woke up this morning and I said to God, you know what, do not be afraid to speak to me. You know, because I'm already there for you. Okay. Because let me tell you something. What happened? Let me ask for the rest of you folks. Okay. Because I know, you know, school is about to start soon, you know. Okay. As for you younger people, okay, you need to go. You need to come. You need to, you know, go work with your classmate. Talk to your classmate. Okay. Or speak with your teacher or college professor or whoever. Okay. You really need to start, you know, gaining more respect. Okay. Because, you know, we're not wasting any more time with you. Okay. Because let me tell you something. If you don't work, if you feel like if you're not working together with them, you know, go to the other side and stay out of their business. Okay. Because they don't want you there. All right. Because you too scared to speak. You don't want to. You know. You don't want to. You know. You don't want to say anything to them because you kept ignoring them. And that's a bad sign for you all. Okay. You know. I'm. Because let me tell you, I'm always being passionate about my job. I'm always trustworthy. Because every time because even though every time I have a problem with that, if something's going wrong with that, yes, I call my managers to tell them, to see what the issue is, and how we can get it resolved. Okay? Because I put confidence in God. I don't, because remember, okay, I do not be feeling afraid, calling them, without, giving too much problems. Okay? You need to take that out from your body system. Okay? Throw it throw it in the garbage, you know, and move on. Okay? Okay? Because let me tell you what's going to happen to the rest of you. If you're, because if you're in a relationship with someone who are too afraid to speak, best thing is for you is to get out of my sight, stay out of my way, you know, move to the other side, okay? Because we're not wasting your time, okay? And what are you so afraid of? You know, you're not a, you know, you're an adult now. You're not a kid anymore. You know, why should you? You see, you know, adults should not be afraid to speak, you know, to God, okay? Because, you know, he's there to, you know, to help, you know, because you really need to start, you know, start taking this easily one day at a time, y'all. Okay? So, remember, you know, we're not, just because I don't, you know, just because I'm not, afraid to, to speak to the manager, you know, because I already put confidence in him, in God. Okay? Remember, put God first. Okay? Alright? And then he's going to give you some straight answers so you can be ready to go once again. Alright? And remember that, and yeah. So you need to find somebody who's not afraid of you, so you can have a healthy, a stable relationship. All right? And you know, we have to be, because we got to be very, be kind to ourselves, not to be afraid to speak for yourself, because you're gonna make good progress, no matter what it is. Okay? And I'm telling you, man, don't, do not be afraid to ask, Make sure you need to ask God's help, pull yourself together, he's gonna help you, do what he can do for you to, move to the next step. Okay? So I should not be just because I do my job independently every weekend, I should not be afraid to tell myself, go into the building, go back to the building, because I do it, with with God, because he may not, God, may not be the boss, but you know, even though if God is telling me, do this job correctly, do this and that, you know, because he's he's the only one, because we need to obey God's commandments. Okay, that's it's a very, very important rule that you need to obey to God. Okay, because remember, okay, you make sure he's doing what he's telling you to do. Okay, all right. So yeah, man, just be careful outside. People are you know are too afraid to speak, and they don't know what's going on. It's gonna make everybody uncomfortable. Okay, so make sure you need to give them some more space, that when you come back, they'll be ready to speak to you without being afraid with nobody in this life. All right. Okay, guys. I just wanted to bring your attention that we have to stop being afraid, y'all, because people who are new at work, or at school, they're too afraid to speak. They taught you well, without being afraid, just because just because sometimes your assignments, it's too hard, or even though you cannot get it in correctly, make sure you need to ask your whether it's your teacher at school, or your boss at your job, so they can help you to improve yourself, so you can move, even though moving out of the way, move to another position. You should not be afraid for things. Okay, so we just want to continue, make sure you don't that you're not being afraid for that, you're not being too scared, because some people are too scared to speak. Don't let that happen to you. Okay. All right, guys. I'm just gonna go ahead, in this video for today. I just wanted to say thank you very much for everything. I love y'all very much. May God continue to bless you all, so to have a successful school year for all students, so they can be prepared, and be ready to go. So they should not be scared, on their first day of school. Okay. All right, guys. I just wanted to say thank you very much for everything. Don't be afraid to talk to people, because they are here to help you. And just because I'm not afraid to call them, because it should not give you any more trouble for the rest of the year. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm out for today. Thank you very much for your support. And let's continue to work this out thoroughly, so nothing is gonna scare you. All right, have an amazing day. Thank you. Take care, and goodbye for now.